Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Say Report. I'm your host, Devon Decker, and joining me, my host companion, it's Sejohn Sarowick. Yay! How you doing, Sejohn?
Hey, thank you. Feeling really good now that I got the cheer squad. Thank you for that.
I'm in a pretty good mood. And honestly, before we go much further, here's the thing. You at home listening, you know what I titled this episode. Right now, there are 3 people in the world who know the title of this episode. And we're recording on July 15th, 2026. It's not an excused absence.
I'm not one of them.
No,
right?
You're not one of them. That's the beauty of it. Sejohn does not know what I'm about to talk about. And honestly, I don't know if Claude actually knows either, though he insisted that we tell him. I'm like, no, it'll be fun. You'll listen to the episode and then you'll suddenly understand what Reagan and I were talking about. And that'll be more fun, right? It'll be like a little secret that we kept for you. And he's like, oh, but it's a whole week. It's a whole week before I'll get to listen. Let me know, please. So I'm like, fine. So we told Claude what we were talking about. And, well, I have another prepared statement. It's not so much a prepared statement in the way that, like, my explanation on excused absences was a prepared statement, but more, I had to make sure I wrote down the information so that I would be prepared to talk about it the next time we were in studio together. So, Sejohn, do you remember what we were talking about exactly 3 months to the day in the studio into these microphones?
3 months to the day. Were we talking about Minions?
No, it was American Pie Presents The Naked Mile. We recorded it on April 15th, then released it on April 30th. And in case anybody hasn't listened, that's a very special episode of the show. So they don't go up on like YouTube generally. Like we put up our Justice League one, but that's because we talked for 4 hours on the Snyder Cut, and we wanted to make sure that like that was out there for everybody. But generally, the very special episodes, they're only available if you're a subscriber to the RSS feed. So, like, make sure you're subscribed if you want to hear the episodes that are, like, hyper-focused on a specific topic. Generally, they're thematic to things that we've been doing since the very first season of the show. Honestly, this episode kind of kicks off the road to our 500th episode of the Say Report. So, I'm going to do a little bit of synergizing, a little bit of commercialization to make sure people understand just what the full oeuvre of the Say Report has to offer. And I hope Sejohn's all right with that.
Also, those Streamy Awards are coming up soon, aren't they?
The Streamies, right? I just want to get a thick Streamy in my face. Right? Let us know you're listening. So at around the 54-minute mark, and it's at exactly, around, I think it starts around 53 minutes, 52 seconds, if you want to be, crazy. But around the 54-minute mark, Sejohn and I talk about something in American Pie Presents The Naked Mile that really bothered me. And Sejohn immediately co-signed that. Do you remember what that might have been, Sejohn? I know I'm asking you to go back 3 months.
To try and find a particular thing in The Naked Mile that seems to bother you.
Yeah.
Was it the... you've lost it. Was it the weird robot? Was it the weird sex robot?
No, it was not the weird sex robot.
Pervert? I should say pervert robot. That's really more accurate in these movies.
No, it wasn't that. Is that a thing that happens in The Naked Mile? Or are you conflagrating Pizza Movie with The Naked Mile?
No. There was a pizza. Oh my God! You said pizza. Now that's all I can think of. But no. There was a robot that was in one of these teen movies that we watched recently, or at least that I watched recently. So
I don't remember there being a robot in it. No. So my biggest problem with American Pie: The Naked Mile is that in the unrated version, you see the women's swim team, and they are legitimately the only females in the entire movie that are sporting bush.
And, right. Yep.
And you and I
do remember this conversation. Yep.
And you and I were like, that makes no sense because they're swimmers, right? They would be clean shaven. So we're watching GDQ over the weekend. I'm hanging out with Claude and Reagan, and Claude's like in the restroom or something. So it's just me and Reagan watching GDQ, and they talk about new runners. Our community is always looking for new runners, but we're talking, and so I thought they said nude runners, and we started talking about nude running, and I shared with Reagan my biggest problem with American Pie Presents Bandcamp, which is the fact that...
Not Bandcamp.
The Naked Mile. American Pie Presents The Naked Mile, the 5th film in the illustrious American Pie franchise. And it was solved. Reagan, it turns out, was able to alleviate my issue with the prominent bushes of the female swim team. Turns out all I had to do was speak with an actual female. Of course, she also happened to be a collegiate swimmer. She kind of buried that lead, though. And so, Sejohn, it turns out swimmers don't just stay shaved all the time. They let their hair grow out for training, so their training waited, like Goku in the first season of Dragon Ball Z.
Like fucking Robin and Teen Titans.
Yeah.
He was taking off the fucking iron boots now.
Yeah, exactly. Because your fastest time with hair on your body would be made even faster once you remove the drag. And thus, considering the collegiate swim season runs from September to March, and the film more than likely takes place in May since it's the end of the collegiate year, it would track that the swim team would be well on their way to growing their pubic hair in preparation for the next season. And that is why, with some help from Reagan, I have decided to title this week's episode The Sherlock Pubes Report. Because when she answered it, she answered the solution, and she's like, yeah, you could just call me Sherlock Pubes. Which was very funny, because Holmes is also with an S. That's what really did it for me. Oh, and just so Claude doesn't feel bad about all this talk for Reagan, he contributed something to the conversation as well. He taught us that a deuce is slang for the 1932 Ford coupe. I don't know why I said it like coup. It's not like Ford was
little deuce coupe.
My little deuce coupe. It's a 1932 Ford coupe because of that 2 in the model year. Now, that's not as much fun as pubic aquadynamics, but it's still a fun fact nonetheless. In fact, Reagan would go on. She knew swimmers who would legitimately swim in leggings. So that, again, Robin with the fucking iron boots. I never considered that other side of it. I always just thought that swimmers were, smooth because it reduces drag. That's what they always say. But no, there is that other side where they have to be hairy as fuck when they're training.
Devon, this is the difference between an enthusiast and a true athlete. You think about these things if you're a true athlete.
But yeah, so there's a good. You go back and listen to American Pie Presents The Naked Mile if you haven't listened to our episode on it, because it's a fun episode. I ended up listening to the episode to make sure I knew when we talked about it, and to confirm that you were just as yeah, they'd be shaved, right? They're swimmers shave. But it was a good conversation with Reagan, so I want to thank her. And also Claude, Mr. I want a prize even though it's not my first episode of the Say Report. If you heard this and legitimately did not remember this conversation you were so fearful you would forget, please let me know. That could just be to me personally. It'll be fun for us. But Sejohn, you now have the floor now that I've gotten that out of the way, because you're the reason that we're here recording tonight. Which that sounds like an indictment. It's not an indictment. I'm actually happy that we're recording.
Did we talk about? Did we talk about the idea that this is a little out of time and space? And we're recording on the 15th of July.
Yeah, because it's significant to the fact that exactly 3 months ago, that's the cool thing about the calendar is that every 3 months all the days repeat.
We are not going to unpack that right now, David.
Because
that'll be a whole episode.
But Sejohn, today they passed a bill to make daylight savings time permanent, which is ridiculous. Because standard time is right there. Oh, are you not familiar with this fact? That like.
Well, I knew. Wait, go. Go ahead. I clearly am not. Go ahead.
Yeah, they introduced a bill to make daylight savings time permanent, and it passed through the House. Now, if it gets Senate approval, daylight savings time will be permanent. We will not fall back into fall.
Do they understand what will happen if we do that?
I don't think so. Sejohn.
Also, like, are other countries on board with us doing that? Because we're also going to start getting off according to their clock.
Yeah, I don't know. This is a thing that I saw, and I'm like, oh, that's something. I won't have to worry about that. No, then they apparently voted on it today, and it passed the House.
This is Arizona up its own ass, getting up in everybody's head now, and we think the whole country can do it. No. You know what a pain in the ass it is to work with Arizona? And I know people will say, well, that's because you have the time zones. But it's like, the time zones make sense, though, because I go to work at a certain time, and if slowly over the decades, if that time starts to shift because of a stupid rule we make right now, oh my god, they didn't. I don't think. Why would you bring this to me now?
I'm so sorry. Well, because you're talking about how we're out of space and time, and that we don't have time to talk about the fact that every 3 months the calendars are the same. So I'm like, oh well. Speaking of time.
Yeah, I mean, because like wrapped up in daylight savings time, like people are like super deep into this kind of stuff. Like there's like some really like nerdy shit that goes on here, but there is a little bit of extra time that we don't really talk about, but is also kind of super important because it's not an exact science. Like one day, like adding one day to the calendar is not completely correct. So we are kind of slowly wavering in like this weird little like time loop. And that becomes important when you start doing things like computing and shit like that. Like trying to account for milliseconds when we're doing things like trying to split atoms is like a huge deal. So like it's kind of important that we stick to this. And that makes me so angry.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's the craziest thing. First of all, do you want to take a guess as to what the bill is named?
Saving our daylights or children or something? I don't know what.
The Sunshine Protection Act. I swear to gosh, if I weren't reading this on The Hill, right? If this were not like a for real news source, I would think that I am in a fucking sketch right now.
That sounds like a sketch on fucking Sesame Street is what it sounds like. The Sunshine Protection Bill.
The bill,
which is, of course, in true
Protection Act
Republican fashion. Yeah. But in true fucking Republican action, naming a bill something that if you say, hey, this is stupid, you have to say, I'm against sunlight protection, which is fucking nuts. Because, like, it now puts anybody out there that's, like pro-solar, like, if they come out against this, it's like, hey, I thought you were into the sun. I thought you loved the sun. And fuck you, man. This is pro-life, pro-choice all over again.
Yeah, it's just crazy. I don't know, man. It passed the House with a 308 to 117 vote. So, like, if it passes the Senate, Trump would probably sign it into law because he's already spoken highly of the bill, saying it could be a very nice win for the Republican Party. Take it.
I gotta say, the one thing in that I have to take umbrage with is he is the most unpredictable motherfucker in the universe. Like, there's no telling. Like, the literal sports betting on him, like, all bets have been off for, like, this entire second run around. Like, it's been crazy watching the just asinine, pointless decisions being made. And, like, I don't think that's fair to say that he's guaranteed to sign it because he could just decide to wipe his ass with it.
I mean, I'm just saying that's what the article says. Good news.
I'm calling the article out. Yeah.
Good news for you. Utah has already passed the legislation to make daylight savings time permanent should Congress allow the move. when you're like, we need an episode to like check in and make sure everything's good. Like, people deserve a regular episode of the Say Report. I thought it was because you knew about the Sunshine Protection Act.
No, I was going to ask if you wanted to do the old format of just like, you got one, I got one. But this is not. All right, look, here's the thing. That's the stupidest fucking thing that Utah could have done. We're going to do it if the federal government says we're going to do it. No fucking shit. Okay.
They'll do that with everything anybody except that wants polygamy.
Right? So, like, if anybody ever wanted to know how the politics in Utah work, like, that is a shining example of, like, just... Oh my God. But what's crazy about that is that implies the idea that there are possibly going to be states that still say, well, no, we're not doing that. And like, it's going to be a clusterfuck. Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't know.
This is going to be great. As somebody that works in tech support, this sounds like fucking nightmare fuel.
Yeah, because it is nightmare fuel. Also, everybody is saying that daylight savings time will become permanent. That article says that we will fall back one final time in November, and then it will never shift again, which means that we will be adopting permanent standard time.
That at least makes sense. Jesus. Yeah. Okay. That, I mean, it's still stupid, and a lot of what I said still stands, but that at least makes a logical amount of sense that I can follow it. Not necessarily that I agree with it, but that I can follow it.
I don't know. I'm so sorry I derailed you with this. I thought that you knew.
No, it's fine.
Because it's like...
No, I had no idea.
We talk about daylight savings time a lot on this show for like... I'm not really affected by it, right? I'm up ridiculously early regardless after staying up ridiculously late the night before. I'm a crazy person.
Dude, my mental health is tied so closely to like the hours of the day that I get so affected by it. It is like a cannonball every time it comes through. Yeah. But I've learned over the years how to adjust properly.
Yeah. So sorry to derail the like pass to siege about what we're doing this episode. But now the ball is in your court officially, Mr. Sarowick. How you doing?
No, yeah, man. I'm doing pretty okay. I am in the middle of a giant ass heat wave in Utah that has caused some electrical blackouts here and there. We only lost power really badly once, but luckily nobody's here right now. It is just me in the house holding down the fort, trying to make sure that everything gets closed up properly before we run away for the whole weekend. Yeah, the heat wave here is no fucking joke, people. I don't know. I don't want to talk about like the weather. That's the stupidest thing for us to do. But like the way that things have switched over in Utah has not been fun. And so like I have just been doing everything I can to do like the escapism thing. I like I said, the family's not here, so it's just me. So I'm down in my room with the air conditioner cranked on high, and every egress has like a blanket over it to stop air from being able to get out and shit like that. And so like, and I've got like the lights down really low. And then the worst part was I lost internet today, right? Oh. And I'm ashamed to admit this, but I have, at least in my own room and where I do all of this work, I have pretty much completely bought in and converted into a Google ecosystem. And that includes things like my lights. So I lost internet today when I was, trying to keep the place cool, and so I had all the lights down and all that. And then at some point I wanted to turn the lights up. And so I said, "Hey Google, can you turn the lights up?" I'm trying to be quiet because I don't want my Google to actually do that. But like,
I'm sorry, I can't do that, Dave.
Yeah. So I say that, and then it's like, sorry, I'm not connected to the internet right now. And I'm just like, oh no, right, fuck. And then I'm sitting there and I'm like, I could turn the lights on like they're supposed to be like manually, right? Like you're supposed to. I don't know what that means. But what that will do with these lights, for anybody that's ever seen these things, you'll know that if you turn them off and then on, their immediate setting is fucking white light at the brightest setting, like 1,000 fucking lumens. And that would be every light in my room suddenly being at its brightest if I were to do that. And so I was like, okay, I can't just do that. So I'm better off with the low lighting and just like stumbling around my room for a little bit until the internet comes back. And like, luckily it did before we had to record today, Jay, thank God. But I don't know. But I think that's also tied to the heat wave, because we had a transformer blew on a telephone pole in a neighborhood about 2 blocks over. It was pretty wild. It sounded like a real gosh darn explosion.
Well, because it was a real gosh darn explosion. Like, those are no joke. The amount of power going through a transformer is...
And we live near, without doxing myself, Utah is home to an Air Force base, a Hill Air Force base. And, we don't live near it, but we live in an area where we're aware of it, right? So, giant explosion outside is kind of something you perk your ears up at. And then all of a sudden, lights dimmed. And then, I was lucky enough that I wasn't part of that mess. It was some other mess that caused our electricity to go out. But that's the kind of shit that's been going on around here. So we're going to escape that this weekend, which is why we are recording early.
Yeah. I mean, not to have this be like us talking about the weather. We are currently being affected by the smoke from the Canadian wildfires. It looks like...
What color is the sky?
Yellow. I feel like we're in LA based on the filter that television puts over LA. It is yellow outside. But then the grosser part of it is that you can taste, the ash in the air. The air is not only heavy... because it's smoke and it's you can taste it and it's you just feel it. It's been pretty gross. And the best part is today's just the precursor. Tomorrow's gonna be even worse.
Yeah, man. I mean, we didn't talk about it much because people suffered much worse than I did. So this is really not me throwing a pity party. But when the Palisades fires were going on, Utah we always catch a bunch of the wildfire stuff in the mountains. It just kind of gets caught up in the bowl, right? So when the Palisades were going on, it was not great out here. But again, it was there were clearly so many more important things to be worried about because we were sending water, what little water we had, and firefighters and shit like that too from here, Of
course. I mean, that's the issue is you say what little water, that's the reason why these fires are as bad as they are. It's just how dry it's been this year. Which is it's been nuts. It is in my little complaint about it's a yellow sky here. I know that people are dealing with actual fires and that, but it's just we had a heat wave last week here that now you're getting, right? Because it's traveling across the country, right? They had the people just passing out over in France and London. Right? In Europe, Europe had the heat wave first. Then it came here with 100-degree days that felt like they were over 110 degrees. Where I just wanted to fall on the ground. But don't do that because you'll die.
Yeah, right.
The sun will get you. And then it's still not cool. Right? We're at 90 degrees most of these days, and then it's just exacerbated by that. It really kind of feels like the end times. That's what somebody said to me today.
We may be documenting the end of the world.
Right. So thank goodness we're recording a few days early. The Sherlock pubes report.
For anybody out there that walks around in games like BioShock and shit, and you're just who the fuck would sit around and just record themselves at the end of this all, right? This is why.
I love the idea of the Say report being those collectibles that you find in in BioShock or Fallout. And it's just us talking about man, Supergirl, huh? Everybody hated that movie. I kind of liked it. I did hate it.
You just watch some woman murder a child, and then all of a sudden you pick up Shantae Street. Shantae
Street, and you're oh man, if I get out of this, I'm gonna track down this Sing Street film. It sounds hopeful.
Oh my god!
And then the person you're with is I don't know. I don't really care about those high school movies where they act like this is the most important time of our lives. And you're shut up. We're in the apocalypse. We need something to be happy about. Yeah, let's move past this, though.
So in order to escape the heat, right, I've been in my cave. And so I've just been doing a lot of just kind of getting caught up on some watching that, not I need to watch the latest of things in order to be on top of shit, but stuff that I have been meaning to just kind of just get out of my system, essentially. And so part of that was the scary movie stuff. I was talking a couple of weeks ago about how I was kind of getting into that, and I finished off that series. And then that led me to just kind of watching some other goofier ones. And it really led me down a path, man. It led me down a path where I started to develop kind of this like, not theory, but like this like vocabulary for watching kind of these kinds of movies, because I found myself, and the connecting thread here is Leslie Nielsen. Like that is that like and inside
as
Leslie
it often
Nielsen,
is,
there are three wolves. No, but like yeah, as it is. But like I was watching, because I love Leslie Nielsen. I think that he was a comedic genius. I think he was an acting genius. Like I mean, even like in his early days, the straight stuff he was doing, the like Hitchcockian shit, was like phenomenal. It's what made him such a good comedian, was his ability to do that really good deep shit, right? And so there's this idea that like, because he's one of the greats, we tend to kind of ignore some of the lesser films that he was a part of, specifically the 90s, you know. Like so like Mr. Magoo was like the big example that I was giving people when I was talking to them about this, but the other ones that I found myself kind of going from Scary Movie to watching some other comedies. And in the Scary Movie movies, you have Leslie Nielsen eventually showing up once the Zuckerbergs take her. Is that their names?
Yeah, it's the Zuckerbergs.
Okay, I was like,
or
I wanted to make sure I'm not just
Zuckers? It's the
I mean, it just might be the Zuckers.
Yeah, you talk. I'll look it up. Who does them?
The Zucker Bros.
The Zucker Brothers.
But once you kind of get to that moment where Leslie Nielsen shows up, I was like, man, it's, you know, what a great pull. And then I thought, no, you know what? This is actually not that hard of a leap from some of the shit he used to do, because I began thinking about his really early 90s ones, horror-based spoof comedies, poorly received by audiences. And
Mel Brooks just turned 100. Are you really going to put him on blast right now?
Oh, no. Look, so obviously, right, we're going to talk about Dracula Dead and Loving It, right? That was one of the ones that I watched. But the other one, the more important one, I think, that to talk about is Repossessed. Do you remember Repossessed?
Repossessed. Of course I know Repossessed.
Yeah, it has its own theme song.
Yeah, it has.
Although it ends in the best musical number in any Leslie Nielsen film ever.
Oh, without a doubt. Legitimately, I co-signed that. Because, like, that is the reason why Repossessed is something that, like, is not that far from my brain when Sejohn brings it up, is because of that Comedy Central Sunday afternoon where I was flicking through and I'm like, was they showing The Exorcist on Comedy Central? And then it goes into this crazy musical number and I'm like, oh, I don't know. This is not The Exorcist. What is?
And the thing
is,
there's multiple musical numbers.
Yeah,
because Ned Beatty also has one too. The Tammy Faye. What was his name? Not Bernie Mac. What was his name?
I don't.
Freddie. Freddie and Tammy Faye. Right. Yeah. I think that's who they were. But like the like Ned Beatty version of that dude like has a whole musical number unto himself too. Look, Repossessed is a fine film, and I don't want to get too deep into the weeds of like why it probably is not well remembered and why it wasn't even well received at the time and things like that. It's not the best movie, right? If you're gonna be a Leslie Nielsen completionist, totally worth watching. If you're looking for like a weird movie because you're just kind of in the mood to like stretch your imagination a little bit, then it's totally serviceable film. It is not an unwatchable movie, right? It's just not it's not a movie worth bringing up. Right, that's kind of where it lands for me, right? Versus Dracula Dead and Loving It, which is, upon rewatching, even fucking better than I remembered. Oh, it is actually like for Peter McNichols alone.
The crazy thing about that movie, the crazy thing about Dracula Dead and Loving It, is that like it's good. I never understood why people were like, "This is terrible," and I'm like, is it terrible compared to other Mel Brooks films? Because, like, this is funny. Like, this is funny Dracula shit that they're doing.
I think some of it is that Nielsen really has a big part of his bit is physical shtick, right? And it's not that that's not in Mel Brooks films, not at all. But Nielsen's, like, use of it, some might say overuse of it in cases. Again, I point to something like Mr. Magoo, right? Like, there's this idea that he leans so heavily on that if that's not your brand, like, right? Because the thing about Leslie Nielsen and Mel Brooks is that they were two satirical kings at the same time, and they really never crossed paths until this movie. So like there's a reason for that, is because that while they are both really good at what they do and they are doing things in the same genre, they are still doing things differently, right? And so that's what makes Dracula Dead and Loving It an interesting watch, to say the least, is to see those two styles coming together. But there's definitely a highbrow level satire going on with something like Dracula Dead and Loving It, right? Whereas what you look at in something like Repossessed, it's what I was starting to call frat so like frat satire, or as I dubbed it, fratire.
I like fratire. That's pretty clever.
Right? So it's like, you know, it's the easy joke, it's the naked woman, it's the we're gonna make a kind of now reference that may not age well, right? Because somebody might not understand this in the future. Also, there's a little bit of a shotgun effect going on. We're just going to do whatever we can. And the Fratire really learned from like Airplane. But the problem is that Airplane was so like well written, methodical, and like surgical in its comedy. And the fact that it still succeeds at having 3 jokes a page, I think, is like the like rumor on that. Like the way that it succeeds at that is because it is just lightning in a bottle, right? Frat comedies try to do that exact same thing, but it's really more about because something's got to stick, not so much that everything's going to land, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. As somebody that grew up on Mystery Science Theater 3000, like that is, like that kind of comedy works for me, right? I'm too busy laughing at the joke I did like, so I missed one that I probably wouldn't have, you know, like that kind of shit. But then the last one is when you're talking about like what the Waynes were doing and what made the Waynes kind of comedy work and what makes it still work for me is it's like punk satire. It is satirical and it's doing a lot of the same stuff that the other ones are doing, but it is aimed, it is pointed, it is looking at something, and in some ways that makes it even more of the moment, which makes it kind of hard to go back to sometimes. But it is so specific in what it's trying to be satirical about. It is edgy, right? And some may call it like edgelord type shit, which is a completely fair like criticism to throw
totally
at their style of comedy. But like their style of satire being like punk satire really worked for me. And so I just started talking about like this with all of the different types of satirical films that are out there, and I was in kind of a horror mood. So I was looking at stuff like Transylvania 65000 and like what did I feel that really landed on. And for me that really is more the highbrow stuff, because like there's a really good story going on there. The references are vague enough that like you know anybody can kind of get them, but also there's like some really deep pulls and deep knowledge about some of that stuff. But you do also have some of the, you know, it's not that highbrow can't also be bawdy, it's just you're much less likely to see the nude woman in like the highbrow satire, whereas like the fratire you were almost guaranteed to see it. And in the punk satire it really depends on what they're being satirical of. Like they're not going to throw boobs in just for the fact that they can throw boobs in, but there may be a particular genre that like not requires but lends itself to that kind of humor, so they may go for it then, right? It's really kind of interesting what seems to work for audiences, when it works for audiences and stuff like that. Because I think Repossessed's biggest problem, after all of my complaining about it, I think its biggest problem is it just came too late. If it had been like 2 years earlier, I think it might have hit a little bit nicer. But I think about that 90s being like a really bad time for this kind of comedy, because what's the one that Aykroyd did and Chevy Chase there?
That you love, Nothing But Trouble?
Something's Gotta Give. No, Nothing But Trouble. You're right. Yeah.
I love Something's Gotta Give. A group of friends wanted to go see Titanic, but it was sold out. So I'm like, why don't we go see Something's Gotta Give? That was a movie for Devon, not for the group of people I was at the movie theater with.
Is that the Jack Nicholson one?
That's Jack Nicholson, Helen Hunt. She won the Oscar for it, right? Greg Kinnear has AIDS.
And Greg Kinnear's got the penis nose, right? That's whole bit.
No, that's Nothing But Trouble. I understand. But you're not wrong. Something's Gotta Give is the highbrow satirical version of Nothing But Trouble. I understand why they're conflagrated in your brain. Also, it's interesting that you say that, like, Repossessed, like, it's 2 years too late, because not only in, like, the grand oeuvre of the satire film does it fall just too late to, like, really land, but it is 12 years removed from The Exorcist. So, like, if it were 10 years removed, people and their obsession with big round numbers and their anniversaries probably would have been like, yeah, oh, I'm sorry, I thought it was 78. It's 73. I had the curves in my head. So, like, it's still just like a little, like, even, but in the 80s, it definitely would have hit. And also, it would have been 15 years, right? For the 15-year anniversary. Because the really crazy thing about Repossessed is that Linda Blair is playing the possessed person again.
Like, well, not even, she's playing that character again.
Yeah.
The opening
she's playing Reagan,
Repossessed. Right? yeah. The opening of
Nancy
Repossessed is, well, right, but is a retelling of The Exorcist. Like, you hear all of the, like, big beats of The Exorcist in, like, the cold open of the movie, and then it cuts to 12 years later, and she's now a mom, and it's all happening again, is, like, the whole bit with her. So, like, it hinges on you understanding that she is Reagan.
Yeah. Exactly. Her name is Nancy in the movie, though. But it's also funny because I spent, like, this whole episode is basically named after my friend Reagan.
But you,
the
but
titular Sherlock pubes. Sorry.
Shit. I don't want to actually the joke, like, right? Like the Nancy Reagan, like,
of course.
That
don't yeah. Which again, like, falls flat now that George Herbert Walker Bush is the president. Right? 88. Right. That hits big. Like, you get the Nancy Reagan of it all. Yeah, no, you don't have to. I'm actually the joke. That's part of the joke, CG.
No, but it's also it points to the fact that they clearly want you to know, is what I'm saying. They clearly want you to associate her with her character in The Exorcist, and I think she wants you to too, because that's the other thing that's really fun about Repossessed, is that Linda Blair is just a fucking blast, and she's so good, especially when she goes back into the possessed version, right? Like, there's some bits that she has to do in this one that, to be fair, there was some weird ass shit in The Exorcist she had to do, but there's just some silly shit in this one that is just so over the top. Voices that she has to put on, costumes that she has to wear. Like, she seems to be very, you know, I don't know much about the behind the scenes on it. Maybe it was a nightmare for her, but like, it seems like it's something that she's on board with, which is always fun to watch, right? Like, as a fan of The Exorcist, having her there is great, but having her there and realizing, like, she's, like, on board with it is what is perfect.
Yeah. Of course. I mean, that is the best part about it. Legitimately, the best part about that is the fact that I did not know her name was not Reagan in that movie. Because the whole kayfabe of the film is that this is supposed to be that same little girl who was possessed is now repossessed. Like,
but I mean, it also goes completely out the window, because in the world of the movie, right, in the verisimilitude of the film of Repossessed, Leslie Nielsen is playing Father May, which is supposed to be the priest that was there the first time. Right. There's a couple of things about that. First of all, the old priest dies. Not to spoil The Exorcist, but it's like, so you have the old priest, like, so he shouldn't be alive anyway. And on top of that, it's a different name for the priest, right? So there's that going on too, right? There is a little bit of this, like, alt universe buy-in. But again, like, the frat style comedy is more than happy to do that. Like, the idea of plot convenience is just like, it's the bread and butter of that style of satire. The idea that something just happens just so that we can get to the point of making this particular joke, right? It's almost like the joke is written first and then the script is written around it. Whereas I feel like a lot more of what you're seeing in, like, a Mel Brooks style comedy is he is much more concerned with getting the story down, and then it's the heightened elements within the story that make the comedy come.
Yeah, I get that. Looking at this, Linda Blair has shared she thoroughly enjoyed making Repossessed, added that she experienced a lot of stress while making The Exorcist, so she appreciated the opportunity to spoof it. And she's the reason Leslie Nielsen's in the movie. Because when they came there with the script, she said, I'm only going to do it if Leslie Nielsen is in it. And they signed him 3 days later. So, like, that's a crazy movie to think back on with that. To go back to the idea of the punk, like, satire that the Wayans do, my favorite part about that, you talk about, like, it's not always boobs, right? And I think about, like, we talked about Not Another Teen Movie, and the woman who is just naked, who is spoofing Nadia from American Pie, like, and like that joke makes sense because part of what they're spoofing is things like American Pie and Road Trip and the bawdier parts of Varsity Blues. So like you kind of
Euro Trip is the other one I always think of in that.
Well, Euro Trip hadn't come out yet. So
that's true.
That's Euro Trip is still 4 years out.
That brand.
But yeah, that brand of right? So that whole thing, but then, like, Scary Movie, the moment that sticks out to me is when Anna Faris is like, I can give you the PG-13 version, and she flashes him, and it's the old man breasts. And, like, that is so funny to me, because, like, that's the better joke. But later in that movie, their way of spoofing all of the gratuitous nudity that you're seeing in these slasher films that are suddenly prominent again in the late 90s is the dick kill at the glory hole. Like, you see a cock in that moment. And that really works for me as humor. I feel like I lost you.
No, I'm here. I just accidentally muted like everything, apparently.
Oh, okay. Well, you just talked about how you lost
different mutes.
Yeah. Well, you talked about how you lost internet, so like I wouldn't have been surprised.
Oh, maybe there was a burp. Yeah. No, you're totally right though. Like they will show. It's not that they won't show nudity. They'll be happy to show nudity, but they'd rather go for the dumb joke than getting the boobs on screen. Whereas like the frat comedy, I think it banks on like kids are going to buy this at Walmart because there's potential for boob, right? Like, so it's just a shitty part of the math, but it's part of the math, right?
I mean, as much as like Airplane, whatever the joke per page is, which I think it is 3 jokes per page, or like a joke per minute is also another one that I've heard with that one. We wanted the punchline per minute is, I believe, the exact like phrasing that they use. And again, that's all through my mind. I'm not going to look that up. Like the Fratire, right? I don't know why I'm not using the beautiful bit of like wordsmithery you've used in the episode. Like, it's like a punchline per page, tits every 5.
Yeah.
So that like, even if they're not laughing, they're like, ooh, boobs. So we're holding their attention.
More importantly, what I'm finding with a lot of like rewatching a lot of this stuff, right? Because we also did One Crazy Summer recently, which also led to a whole bunch of other rewatches, up to and including Porky's. Like straight up rewatched Porky's the other night. That was a weird experience, but I don't think I'm ready to unpack that.
No, that's I'd have to rewatch Porky's before we unpack a rewatch of Porky's. But I referenced it with somebody. Right? Like, it's like, they're like, oh, I noticed my rear, like, turn indicator is out. And I'm like, well, thank God you're not going to, like, a strip club in the Deep South, or you'd be in real trouble.
Yeah, but I've noticed, like, in the specifically when you start to get into the 90s, it became a lot more about teasing the idea of nudity. And so, like, there would be, like, the half-naked girl on the cover that isn't even in the film. It's just some model that they got to be half-naked on the cover, right? It'll have all the dudes that are in the movie right there on it, but the girl that's there has nothing to do with the rest of the film. And then, like, on top of that, like, they'll hint at nudity, show a guy's butt, hint at nudity, and then finally there'll be, like, a shot of nudity that is not in any way sexual, because it can't be, right? Because like that's like, because if it becomes sexual, then it's a whole other different types of film. So like then it's out of, it's out and then it's done. Like that's what we really got to at some point, and still like people ate that shit up. There was the unrated versions of all sorts of shit that got bought off shelves.
I mean, I don't think someone has to be working on this if it's not already done. But the invention of the PG-13 rating really changed the landscape of cinema, because that was the golden number, man. Is that, like, we can sell the most tickets if we get the PG-13 rating. And even something
we know it's a pure business decision, right? Because it's Spielberg, and, like, the idea that, like, Spielberg wants this movie to be seen by kids, but there's some stuff in it. Well, let's invent a whole new rating for Spielberg to do that.
Right, exactly. I mean, and even like something like Repossessed, to just hopefully finish talking about Repossessed, because I'm so jealous that you got to watch it, because I have not seen Repossessed.
Man,
probably in 15, 20 years.
I would rather talk about Dracula Dead and Loving It, man. Steven Weber is a fucking charm, and like everybody in that movie is just so good.
Amy Yazbek, I love that. Like, and of course, like Dracula Dead and Loving It, I had seen Robin Hood Men in Tights. Like, so of course I was like, suddenly I'm on the fucking Mel Brooks train after Robin Hood Men in Tights. And just the people that he was working with in the 90s was such a... And I mean, Wings is one of my favorite shows. As much as I'm a Cheers guy, Wings was the show that was on every day from 11 to noon on USA
Wings
Network.
Was like... Yeah, and Wings was like required watching if you were from the New England area, right? Like it was just kind of just like, oh, this is our backyard. I think we've talked about that before.
Oh, we definitely
have. If something gets done in New England, if something is filmed in New England, or something takes place in New England, everybody in New England has to go and see it.
Sometimes to the detriment, because Rhode Island is not Salem, Massachusetts, and Hocus Pocus 2 really suffered for me because of that. I'm just gonna be honest about it. Oh, jeez.
The haunted town of Rehoboth.
I mean, they went to my Walgreens. Like, that was one of the weird things. I'm like, I'm in that Walgreens all the time. That Walgreens is not in Salem, Massachusetts. Also, that's the outside of the Walgreens, and then they go inside, and I'm like, that's not my fucking Walgreens. What the fuck just happened?
I don't know if this is true or not, and I would love somebody to verify this for me if it is or isn't. But I was recently talking with some friends that are PA, like behind the scenes, but in the film industry, right? And we were just talking about the idea that in cities like New York and LA, and actually in a lot of California, apparently, there's just like this basic assumption that you could probably end up on camera at any moment. And so like there's like rules, if not straight up laws in place about like, look, dude, if you're on the street and you happen to end up in the background of a movie you don't like, sorry, like you don't get to do anything about that, which is only kind of like relative and important right now because of the conversations that are starting to now really become serious. They've been going on for years, but really become serious about the ownership of your likeness, right? With things like AI, with things like holograms and shit like that, right? Like if they decide to scan the background, right, of Meet Joe Black, and they get a shit ton of Rhode Islanders, and then like those are all in the bank now for possible use in the AI. Am I going to go see a movie one day and like see my grandfather up there who's been dead for 10 years, you know, like that kind of shit? Like that the slippery slope is always a bad kind of path to take when you're making an argument, right? Like slippery slope arguments are not solid arguments, literally and figuratively. But like the idea that there is potential now for something, especially in a movie made in the past, that you didn't agree or disagree to any of this, but you did agree to give your likeness over to the film, and now the film is owned by this company, and so this company's going to do that. It's weird shit, man.
I mean, that just makes me think about George Lucas in the back of that documentary, where like a guy was just filming in Chicago and George Lucas walks by in the background and he glares directly into the camera. Like, and one of his more recent cameos like was released today by the film as a way to try to get people to go see the movie. I'm not going to say what it is in case you haven't gotten to see it yet. But I know you're excited to see this particular film. But yeah, like,
yeah, no. But yeah, no, it's the kind of silly shit I've been up to. Doing a lot of the adult cartoon stuff that we were talking about. Nice. ADHD adult cartoon. Yeah, all those nudie tunes I've been watching. No, I've been watching like found myself down a really deep Adult Swim rabbit hole of like, you know, C-Lab and Harvey Birdman, and also somehow got all of Super Jail under my belt. Like,
you know what? I'm jumping in, Sejohn, off of Super Jail. So did you do anything with Sundance this year? I know it was like the swan song for Sundance because they're moving somewhere else. Did you experience anything at Sundance this year?
Not really much. Okay. I think that we ended up going to one movie, and I couldn't even remember what it is right now. Okay. So no, it was really, because here's the thing: it was half in Colorado this year,
right?
So
exactly.
It was half of the showings in Utah. Most of the big stuff was happening in Colorado, and so no, not much.
Okay, because a little film that blew up Sundance had its wide release over the weekend. And that's Gail Daughtry and the Celebrity Sex Pass, the latest from David Wain. You know, who's the warden in Super Jail. Since it doesn't seem like you were able to catch it at Sundance, and I doubt you've gotten a chance to see it because I feel like nobody's talking about this movie. It came in 11th place over the weekend. People, go see Gail Daughtry and the Celebrity Sex Pass. That's what I'm going to say to everybody.
I mean, David Wain makes a good movie, folks.
He makes a good movie.
We've talked about that before.
I will admit, I understand why the fields have lay fallow since they came together. I think that it was very weak. And I'm like, am I a David Wain completionist? Have I seen everything as I walked out of Gail Daughtry? Huge smile on my face, just the happiest I've been leaving a movie in a long time. And that includes Scary Movie 6, which was also just very good. But Gail Daughtry does something that I absolutely love, that I'm going to wait until everybody can see it. I'll wait for its home release and for Sejohn to have seen it before we actually talk about this film. But I'm going to use Super Jail as my way to tell everybody, go see Gail Daughtry. David Wain's back, man. It is back to the role models level of hilarity. It was so enjoyable.
David Wain started doing a YouTube channel with his band, the
Middle-Aged Dad Jam
Band, and they do a lot of celebrity cameo covers of songs and stuff like that. Highly recommend. Some really good music. The problem is that because it's all previously existing music, it's not really available anywhere but on YouTube, because they can do it as parody video type stuff.
They did just release another album to streaming though, but none of the songs on it are very good. They did a video about we have our second album coming out and you can find it on streaming, and I'm like, wow, none of these songs are songs I would have wanted. No offense, guys.
Yeah, but yeah,
because of exactly what you're talking about.
That's been going for a bit, and David Wain is a man that has had a bit of a he is not he's not somebody who has had consistent work in his career, let's say. And a lot of that is because his style of comedy is weird, and delightfully so, and very much my style of comedy, so I'm on board for it. Oh, yeah. But it's quirky. I think that it's a lot less. I think that in the 90s it was much more quirky than what was going on, right? The kind of stuff that he was doing with
the State was crazy.
The State, and what was the weird one that he did on MTV? Wasn't he part of the one on MTV with Aziz Ansari and
I know the one you're talking about.
No, he might not have been a part of that one though. What's his nuts from The League there, and Andre.
Kroll? Oh, Andre. I don't even know. Oh, what the heck is his name? He's got the How Did This Get Made podcast. Why can't I think of his freaking name right now?
Paul. I know his name is Paul. I can't remember his...
Is it Paul Scheer. Paul Scheer? Yeah.
Paul Scheer. Yeah. So I don't think he was part of that, but he was a part of talking about Paul Scheer, Children's Hospital with Rob Corddry, right?
Yeah.
And that was man, that was amazing. There is, so he's always been kind of there, right? He's always, you mentioned role models earlier, right? I really enjoyed Wanderlust, which I believe was one of his.
Yep, Wanderlust. Jennifer Aniston's fantastic in it. Paul Rudd, he's been there since. It's also the 25th anniversary of Wet Hot American Summer, because they're traveling around with it. Middle-aged dad jam band is doing performances with the movie, and then they're talking about that film. It's a whole tour that's going on right now. So David Wain's certainly having a moment, and Gail Daughtry and the Celebrity Sex Pass, I saw it was coming, and I'm I need to go see this movie. So I get tickets, and then Dale's like, well, I want to go. I love Zoe Deutsch. She had no idea it was David Wain. As somebody who, like, has seen Role Models, like, 50 times, like, really likes that movie, loves Wet Hot American Summer, loves The 10, not a big fan of Wanderlust, and has never experienced They Came Together. And I don't think she's ever seen a State, like anything from the State. I don't think the State would work for Dale. I'm just going to be completely honest about that.
No, 90s sketch comedy doesn't work for a lot of people, including people in the 90s.
Yeah. So that whole thing, she had no idea it was David Wain until, like, you know, Ken Marino, and then David Wain shows up in the scene, and she's like, what the fuck? Did you know? And I'm like, of course I knew, what the hell? But then the best part was my mother, where she's like, where's my invitation? And I'm like, I didn't really think that you would care about this particular movie. And she's like, it was the darling of Sundance, Devon. Of course I care about this movie. I'm like, cool, I guess we're all going to see Gail Daughtry and the Celebrity Sex Pets. And we had a blast. The three of us had a blast. There were two other people in the theater who were probably upset that they had to share the theater with us.
Good shit, man.
There were some callbacks that, like, legitimately had me cheering. That I'm like, I cannot believe they pulled that off. It's just good. It's a good movie. And I was hoping that, like, maybe if you had interacted with Sundance, we could talk about it. But I'll wait. But please go support it. It's going to be out there probably for another week. And it'd be great if it made more money than Supergirl made this weekend. I mean, I still liked Supergirl, but everybody's losing their minds over the fact that it only made $3.5 million in its third weekend. And honestly, I mean, I kind of get it. That is, like, everybody's like, that really talks about DC. I think it kind of talks more about where we're at with the movies as entertainment.
Well, and specifically superhero movies, right? Like, This is not a surprise to anybody that has been paying attention. People don't want to go and see superhero movies right now. Marvel, the smartest thing that Marvel has done is they've let off the gas a little bit. They'd be smarter if they would let off a little more, but like that is one of the best things that Marvel has done for itself, is like stepping back, right? Like not competing with DC, not making sure that they have 6 things out every year for people to have eyes on. Like, you know, there's definitely still been some things, Wonder Man and stuff like that, right? But it has not felt like the just like onslaught of shit that they were releasing before. Whereas DC has very proudly been kind of shoving it in everybody's face that they were going to start putting movies out again. And so it's a real misread on DC and Warner Brothers' part. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, right? They go back. We've been covering that since literally the beginning of this show. But yeah, it was what Marvel had 3 last year, right? They did Captain America. Oh my God, Brand New Day? No, New World Order, maybe? I don't know. Brand New World. New World Order was what it was originally called. And then they turned it into Brave New World. We had Thunderbolts, which then became something else. What the heck was the last one? They had a 3rd one last year, right? That I straight up do not remember what the 3rd Marvel movie was last year. There might not have even been one. I might be making this up in my head. Now, how do I check that? Like, what does a person check into?
Wikipedia, Marvel, MCU films, and there'll be a list.
Right? Let's see if I'm crazy.
Deadpool Wolverine?
No, Deadpool Wolverine was... Fantastic Four First Steps. That's the one that I forgot about. And then after First Steps, while we have Spider-Man Brand New Day coming out at the end of this month, that's right, Spider-Man 9 comes out this month.
Spider-Man 9.
Yeah, that's what I've been calling it, and it's got a pretty good reaction from the people. Like, that is mostly Sony, right? Like, because they're like, we're done letting you play with our toys, Marvel. We want him back. So that was the whole thing, that way that things ended. So then you have Doomsday.
Although I do understand that there's definitely some. Anyway, we'll talk about it.
There's some MCU that's going to be happening. Once it happens, we'll have to talk.
It got some of that MCU stank on it.
Yeah, a little bit of that stank is there. But the one that Marvel is like, really, this is our guy, is Avengers Doomsday. And there was apparently a leak of the full script of that, and people are not happy about that one, which I've avoided it. But yeah, maybe a full year without any would have been good. I mean, 2024, I think it was just Deadpool Wolverine. Like, I think they did have a year where they let it lay fallow in the
was
wake
that also
of Quantumania.
Spider-Man?
Oh, no. Well, there was, like, maybe Across the Spider-Verse, and there was a Venom film, and there were those. But those don't technically count, not to be rude. Like,
I think in the grand scheme of superhero fatigue, they definitely count.
Okay.
Like when my mom still wants to when my mom still can't figure out why Superman and Captain America haven't met yet. like we are still in an era where like people are not divvying this up. I mean, we've talked about this with the Sony films. They wanted you to believe that they were part of the MCU. They straight up lied to their actors about it.
Yes, they did. Sejohn brings up a good point there. Yeah, because it was 2023 was Quantumania, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and The Marvels. Two of those films which are regularly referenced as what killed superhero films. So then they only had Deadpool Wolverine in 2024, which like kinda counted. Like it was just sort of a way to bring things together. That's films. Like that's feature film releases. There was still a bunch of shit on Disney Plus in 2024 that added to the fatigue. So yeah, yep. I don't know. But yeah, Spider-Man Brand New Day is coming, and I don't know. I just don't know. Go see Gail Daughtry in the Celebrity Sex Pass. That's the most important thing. I also saw the live-action Moana today, and I don't...
Why?
Why is that like that? What? Please tell me why your response to that was why.
Look, I don't want any movie to fail. I think that there's going to be an audience for this particular film and all of that. I just didn't expect you to be part of it, to be frank.
So I didn't really love Moana. I'll be honest with you about that one.
For a lot of reasons, I didn't think you'd be part of this.
I liked some of the music and that. This one I was interested, like, because I cannot believe that like so many of the people are just reprising their roles for the live action. I can't think of a time where that's ever happened before.
I think that's why it got made as soon as it did. People keep asking, why was this made now? And I really think the main reason was because they wanted to do this thing that they could say that they had all the people that did the voice. Like 5 years from now, that's not going to be the case for a lot of these people.
I mean, the only people that they have are Dwayne Johnson as Maui and Jermaine Clement as the crab. The Tamatoa.
Right.
Like, it's not like everybody.
Yeah.
Like, there was a time.
No, but when I say everybody, I mean Dwayne Johnson. Like, let's be honest. This was made entirely to make sure that they could still have Dwayne Johnson in this movie. And I'm not kidding. The way that dude has wrecked his body over the years and the way that things have been going career-wise, I don't expect him to be doing movies like Moana live action again in the next like 5 to 10 years.
No,
I think he's going to become a different type of actor. I don't think he's ever going to stop acting at this point, but I don't think that we're going to continue to see him in these giant roles, at least not all the time like we have up to now.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. But yeah, I was curious, right? And you know, it's Wednesdays are cheap tickets, so I was able to go see it for $6. And I'm like, I want to see because everybody's talking about it. And honestly, I enjoyed the live action a little bit more than I enjoyed the animated film. And I mean, partially it's because the animated film just feels like it happens. Like things just sort of happen. It doesn't feel like it didn't feel cohesive to me. Like it felt like kind of a first draft. So this one they had the 10 more years to finish it up. I don't know.
Is there much different? I've heard that it's pretty spot on.
Pretty spot on. They add a couple of things to it that I mean, I haven't seen Moana since I saw Moana, so maybe I'm forgetting things that were already there. But they did add. It felt like they added some things that were new to me. But yeah, I checked it out. I'm seeing movies again, which is nice, right? So as happy as I am to see things like Scary Movie 6, Gail Daughtry, like. Moana's just sort of in there because I wanna be part of that conversation while it's going on, right? I don't want to be catching up a couple of months down the line. But now, Sejohn, if you'll indulge me, I also wanted to spiral off of your I've been watching old cartoons sort of thing. And while you're watching decidedly adult cartoons, I'm watching, well, I guess they're pretty adult. I'm watching adult cartoons that were made for kids. Is the way I'm going to talk about. So a couple of weeks back, we talked about how someone had found the full-on digital masters of the third season of Pete and Pete, which only lends further credence to the idea that season 3 is out there in some warehouse, just waiting for somebody to find it and distribute it.
Yeah, right. No, I mean, it sounds like an episode of Pete and Pete, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Mike Morona and my good friend Danny Tamborelli weren't the ones who found it. But that whole release, that find on the Internet Archive, and it was found in February, but it finally got some traction back in May, has led to a bunch of retrospectives on Pete and Pete. And I watched one of them, and I realized much like when I started watching Pee-wee's Playhouse when they were doing the reruns on Adult Swim, how formulative that show was for me. And I'm like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to watch Pete and Pete with Dale. Because I don't think Dale has seen... She's probably seen an episode here or there, right? Because it's not as if I didn't watch Pete and Pete.
Well, and she's seen Snow Day, right?
Yeah, she's definitely seen Snow Day. And the musical Snow Day, which was not very good. Sorry, Paramount Plus. I know you don't need someone to kick you while you're already down. But you're the guys who made Snow Day the musical. So you know what? You're kicking yourselves while you're down. So I tracked it down. And what we've done over the last week is I had seen some of the shorts. The 24 shorts that had started before the premiere pilot episode of Pete and Pete.
It was kind of like As the School Bus Turns, right? Not that it was the same thing, but it was in that same idea that they were just bumps, right?
Yeah, exactly. So because Nickelodeon was a fledgling network, if they didn't have ads, they would play these 30-second to a minute long little interstitial bumps that just featured Pete, his brother Pete, and his girlfriend Ellen. Ellen, I told you, you're a girl and a friend, but you're not a girlfriend. Which, thankfully, they dropped that after the first 2 shorts, because it's a little cringy. So I haven't watched them, all of the shorts in a very long time. And there were some I can admit I hadn't seen. So over the weekend, we watched all 24 shorts, which if you just sit down and watch them, it's kind of like watching an episode of Pete and Pete. And then we watched the original pilot, so Day of the Squid, Valentine's Day Massacre, but the extended version, the one that's 30 minutes long, where there's some alternate cuts and things
I must
have
because I had the DVDs at some point.
Yeah, they were on the DVD. So we watched that one. And I on my own before, I'm like, no, I'm going to watch this with Dale. It's not going to be a lone journey. I'm going to do this with my own little Pete. I had watched Day of the Valentine's Day Massacre on my own. And then I'm like, oh, we'll watch the pilot together because I know there's some different cuts and it'll be fun for me to do it. And then we watched the first 5 shorts. We just finished the last one, New Year's Pete, right before we started recording tonight. And you know what I have to say after watching the first 5 specials again, Sejohn?
Mm-hmm.
How did they get Steve Buscemi? It was actually kind of fun because he shows up in
He's the ice cream man, right?
No. He's Ellen's dad. He's Phil Hickel.
Oh,
Ellen Hickel's dad.
That's right. Yeah.
So he shows up in the 3rd special, Space Geeks and Johnny Unitas, for a blink and you'll miss it scene. He's not central to the plot or anything like that. And Dale immediately, how the fuck did they get Steve Buscemi of Pete and Pete? So I do like that has soldiered on as a bit of just inside jokery with the people who are familiar with our work. But then I convinced her that it wasn't him Yeah, like, we'd been
why?
We'd been drinking because like I knew that the next episode. No. We'd been drinking, so she was in that like sort of position where I could kind of for fun gaslight her. And then like we'll watch the next one. Was it Apocalypse Pete, where it's the prank war between Don and Phil. So like he's a prominent character in the fourth special. Mm-hmm. So it's like, and at that point, they'll be like, no, it's really him, Dale. I was just fucking with you because he's in, he stands in the doorway kind of out of focus in Space Geeks and Johnny Unitas. So, but then we put it on, and Mom was watching that one, and she's like, how did they get Steve Buscemi? Same bit, fantastic. And then Dale's like, that's not Steve Buscemi. I thought it was, but Devon said it's not. And she's like, yeah, he was fucking with you. And she's like, I fucking knew it. And it was fun. It was just a fun thing. But it's been really fun to go back. Like, first of all, the 5 specials, right? So, Valentine's Day Massacre, How We Spent Our Summer Vacation, Space Geeks Johnny Unitas. Actually, I've said them all up to this point. Apocalypse Pete and New Year's Pete. I cried during every episode, making me question if every single episode of Pete and Pete that I watch now as a 40-year-old man will make me cry.
Oh no!
Right?
Yeah.
I'm such a baby 'cause Pete and Pete makes me cry. There's nothing I can do. Yeah. So that show is so good. Like I can't get over just how good a show it is. Like the stories are good, and the reason why I watched the shorts is that I had read that like there were references in the show to the shorts. The shorts are not considered a separate entity. Rather, they're considered canon to the show, even though, like, Ellen's father is played by a different actor. Before Rafe comes in to play their father, like...
It's a different continuity, but it's still canon.
Yeah, it's interesting, because it's been real fun just in the specials, because the specials very heavily reference the shorts. In fact, Apocalypse Pete, the whole plot line of their dad racing Ellen's dad, him and their father in his car, and Ellen's dad using a remote control car, is like the 20th short. It's the exact same plot of that. And that special specifically has a bunch of references to shorts in it. Like, it is just so thick, all of the, like, lore that they grab from the shorts to bring into what will be the show. It's just a lot of fun. So, like, it's just been fun seeing how the show was made, and then, like, what they kept, what they didn't. God, it's such a good show, and I'm so excited to keep going through it. So, like, that's what I'm rewatching, though, is Pete and Pete. And it's
hell yeah,
so
man.
good. I don't even know. Oh man, sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's between the heat wave and just trying to like kind of just keep it just slow moving. Like new shit is just not where I'm at right now. So I've just been diving back into some old stuff. But I mean, video game wise, I've been just like playing through. I think I talked about how I've been playing through the Arkham series.
Nice.
I'm actually playing the Batman Telltale series now, which I thought I had finished the first season. I knew I had not done much with the second season, Enemy Within, but at least the first season, I thought I thought I had finished it. But I got to a moment in it that I was like, okay, I would have remembered this happening, and so I didn't. So I'm finishing that up for the first time, and then I'm gonna dive into the Enemy Within after that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm on the edge of my seat, waiting for more from fucking Absolute Batman. I started reading Absolute Green Arrow this week.
That sounds
holy
fun.
Shit, it is so good. Absolute Green Arrow is just, I mean, it's gorgeous. Dinah is the kind of audience XP for at least the first arc. And so you're seeing it all from her eyes, and she's like an ex-MMA fighter who is like a protection specialist and shit like that. And so she's just fucking badass. But then like when the Green Arrow shows up, I cannot tell you whether or not it's Ollie yet, because supposedly in this universe, Ollie has been shot pretty like
pretty
what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, like pretty squarely right between the eyes. Like he is pretty dead in this universe. But there is a Green Arrow, so I'm wondering if they're gonna do like a Thomas Wayne style, like it's Ollie's dad or something, or if it's Ollie and they're gonna really dive into some of the race stuff, right? Like Ra's al Ghul and like the what do you call it, pit? There's been some developments in the Lazarus pit. Yeah. There's been some developments in the absolute universe about kind of what's really going on, blah blah blah, and that's all well and good. But I am so not invested in like the larger like elements. I am so invested in just seeing what kind of elements from the characters are really coming out. They're gonna start like an absolute Catwoman soon. It's gonna be pretty rad. Nice. Absolute Wonder Woman's also been a blast this entire time.
Your brother got me turned on to Absolute Wonder Woman. He was raving about it, and I'm just like, I didn't realize how like that sounds awesome. And not that I'm not like a Wonder Woman guy, but like it sounds like that is the one that like they turned enough for me to be like truly interested in.
There's a 2-issue, one in Wonder Woman, one in Batman crossover story arc that's pretty fucking solid. It comes into play in the Batman stuff really, really well, really nicely. I'm not too sure if it's that meaningful in the Wonder Woman stuff, but in the Batman stuff, it is super meaningful and it's really cool. So that was really fun.
So yeah, I keep wanting to go to that stuff. And honestly, when you bring that Dinah is sort of the audience XP, and we think that Oliver Queen is dead, my first thought was Lazarus Pit, having read exactly 0 panels of this. So I'm excited to see how that goes. Damn it,
But he is vicious. I mean, that's the thing is that I haven't really talked too much about this, but Absolute Batman has proven to be one of the greatest horror comic series I've ever read. Like, it is fucking scary, grotesque, like body horror, like just awful, gross, and like Batman in the middle of it is no peach. Like, he is just as horrific as the things around him in a lot of scenes and stuff. Like, it is a horror comic, right? And so that's kind of like the way that I approach reading that one. The Oliver Queen stuff, like, I feel the same way I did the first time I saw the Wachowskis' Ninja Assassin. Like that, like the gore on display is like almost beautiful. I
like that. I really like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to pretty badass.
I have also gone back to old games. I refinished the adventure mode in Diddy Kong Racing, unlocking Drumstick and TT. Drumstick's not hard to unlock, but TT, you gotta beat him. You have to beat an arbitrary time, and then you have to race him. So TT is from Diddy Kong Racing. He's the time trial like clock. He's an original from Diddy Kong Racing.
Right. Okay.
And everybody's like, he's so good, and he is pretty good. I handily beat all of the bosses with him after unlocking him, and I didn't cheat at all, because I mean, like, the Diddy Kong Racing trick, right? Like, at this point, I
am not the expert at Diddy Kong Racing, man. The most that I know about it is I'm pretty sure that's where Conker shows up for the first time, isn't it?
Yep, Conker does show up in that. Banjo and Conker are in the game as sort of cameo characters, but it's like humble Conker, because that was back before it turned into, Bad Fur Day.
Raunchy.
When it was, so that's there. And then Tip Top, who's a character in Diddy Kong Racing, ends up showing up in Banjo-Kazooie. But, like, that's just because, like, we needed the turtle character, and we already have this one. So, like, it's interesting to see how that works. But, like, the crazy thing about Diddy Kong Racing is, so if it were, like, a scale of 1 to 5, every character has a top speed value. And if you're using somebody with a high acceleration, and you tap the acceleration button, they can push past that top speed limit, because they're accelerating. They accelerate so fast that if you're constantly accelerating, you can go faster. Now, that can be a problem with some of the AI, because certain bosses, based upon your acceleration, that determines their speed. So if you're constantly accelerating, they get to go faster too. So you need to know, like, when to use it. The best time, I use Pipsy. Pipsy is my main in that game. She's the little yellow mouse girl. Anytime she's in a car, you can do that, and you will, like, I regularly lap people if I'm just tapping it. And since I'm using it on an emulator, if I just map one of the buttons to be like auto fire, I just hold that button down and I have the acceleration trick going. And I can like way push past her top speed limit, which is fun. Like, it's just fun to do that. And like, I've beaten the game a bunch of times, so I don't feel like bad. I'm just trying to have fun with it. But I have now started Adventure 2, because when you beat Adventure, you unlock an Adventure 2 mode. And I've never played that before. Because like, I enjoyed my time with the first one. I wasn't interested in going back in. The primary difference is that it's mirror mode. All of the tracks are going the other way. Right? Like classic mirror mode stuff. But then in Diddy Kong Racing, they have an adventure mode. Like a proper adventure mode. Like the reason I was excited about Mario Kart World was I thought it would have a proper adventure mode with an open world. And it just doesn't have that. Which, you know, was a little disappointing, right? But that's on me for putting expectations on the game that were kind of unrealistic. Let's be honest about it. But yeah. So
there's no Saberwolf representation in this game.
Well, I mean, the fact of the matter was, like, it wasn't even supposed to be Diddy Kong Racing.
No, like from the looks of the prototype, it looks like Diddy Kong was smashed in at the last second.
Diddy Kong, Conker, and Banjo were added, like, to like try to make it this bigger thing, and then like they talked about maybe doing a re-release on Xbox as the Rare Racers. And, like, just taking Diddy Kong out of it. And, like, I don't know where that went.
There's some Nintendo talk about re-releasing it, and what they would have to do with Banjo and Conker is just replace them, apparently.
So they just
replace them with, like, Donkey Kong?
On the DS.
Oh, is that something they already did?
They did it on the DS. Ooh. And Conker and Banjo are replaced by Tiny Kong and, oh, my God, I don't know. It's not Dixie.
Dixie?
Like, it might be Dixie, but I don't think it is. Is it
Diddy Kong Racing DS? Hold on,
look up Diddy Kong Racing DS. Because I know that one of the big things about Diddy Kong Racing DS...
Dixie.
It is
Diddy, Dixie, Tiny, Timber, Crunch, Tip Top, Pipsy, and Bumper. Unlockable, Drumstick, TT, Taj, and Whizpig.
Yeah. Taj and Whizpig being unlockable are big deal in that game. And I've never done that. I've only unlocked the Drumstick in the DS version. Because first of all, because it's a DS game, the way to get, like, the speed boost... is all touchscreen based. So like for the car, you have to like roll your stylus over the wheel and get it spinning fast enough to earn that boost. For the hovercraft, it uses the microphone, you blow, and if you get the propeller spinning fast enough, you get the boost. And I think for the plane, you're spinning the propeller to like give it that extra boost. I don't even remember. Like that is how that game was kind of miserable. And to unlock the characters, like to unlock TT in regular Diddy Kong Racing, you have to pass a time that has been set for each track, and then that unlocks TT, and then you have to beat TT in a race, which is fun.
Okay.
So like, because essentially you have to bag that first time through where you're beating the time to unlock TT, because like he's a ghost, so I think his ghost will become as fast as you went through it, so you can kind of make it impossible to beat if you do too well. And that might just be a schoolyard rumor, but yes, I mean, we thought it was a schoolyard rumor that you could race as TT in the game, let's be honest. Because none of us were double beating all the time trial stuff. But in the game, like, so each, like, biome, for lack of a better term, it's set up where there's 4 tracks. Once you get first place in those 4 tracks, you race a boss, and then you have to take the silver coin challenge. And the other thing about Adventure 2 is it replaces the 8 silver coins in every track. And I gotta tell ya, that is fucking bullshit. Some of the places where the coins are, like, it's straight up, you have to drive in the water. And then you have to win the race.
Okay.
So.
Fuck, man.
I've went through the first biome, Dino Island. I've gotten everything there in Adventure 2. And it's kind of fun. I think my biggest complaint is that there are interstitial races with Taj the Genie. like at 5 balloons, 10 balloons, and 15 balloons. I believe it's that. I mean, the fact of the matter is I don't leave Dino Island until I have 13 balloons. So, and then he still, because it's my first time going back to the quote-unquote overworld, he challenges me to the first race. So I don't know where the threshold is to activate that first race. So I finished Dino Island. I went back to the overworld to like save my progress. And he's like, I want to race you around the island in the car. And that is not mirrored. And like, that's a bit of a mind freak too, my friend. Because I'm expecting like everything else I've been having to turn right when I usually turn left. And now, what the fuck are you doing to me, Diddy Kong Racing? So I don't know if I'll complete it, but I finally started it. But the bigger game that I've been playing is Monopoly 64.
Hell yeah, man.
It is
fucking love a good Nintendo Monopoly.
It is the most robust version of Monopoly that I have ever played. Like, really? I cannot believe that, like, they figured it out, and I think it's 97 that it comes out. Like, it is so good. The entire family plays.
What's the Japanese Nintendo swing on the Wii? It was, like, something street, like Me Street or something? Oh, what was the name of that one?
Plaza?
But it was basically... No. It was basically like a little bit like Mario Party going around the board type shit, except I don't think there were mini games. I think it was really just the going around the board bit, but there was a lot more going on with like the spaces and stuff. But it was like Nintendo has had a really good run with Monopoly, right? All the way back to at least the Nintendo Entertainment System. I don't know if there was any connection between the two of them before that, but like the NES version of Monopoly and on is like every system in Nintendo history, I think, has had a version of Monopoly on it. And the Super Nintendo Monopoly was something that, like, Zach and I played it deep into the night.
Yeah, I love the N64 one. I cannot get over how good it is. So I think it's just called Wii Party. Interactive game boards utilizing players' Mii's to roll dice and move across the board.
It was like Fortune Street or something like that.
I don't know. I typed in Wii Me with Mii's. So let's see. Fortune Street. We got the internet here. Fortune Street's a video game. Yeah. Boom Street in Europe and Oceania.
Yeah, I think Fortune Street's the one that I'm thinking about. And it's a really, really fun party game. I actually had a blast playing Fortune Street, but it was seen as a bit of a knockoff like Mario Party without all of the fun mini games. So like I don't think it got the love that it deserved. But it's a fun one.
Apparently Square Enix developed it, which is crazy. Yeah. I don't know. I've never played that one. But yeah, Mario and Dragon Quest characters. That sounds like fun, Fortune Street. Maybe I'll look into it. But I've been having fun. Like, those are the games. Because, like, you know what I should be playing? Is Star Fox for the Switch 2. And it is still in the shrink
and you're
room.
not, huh?
I have not even unwrapped it.
Okay. So it's not like you started it and you turned away from it. You just started.
Well, like, I kind of did. Because I played the Treehouse demo. And
right, yeah, okay.
I absolutely hate the way they changed the controls. So, like Y is accelerate, A is brake. No, A is shoot. It's so weird. Like,
is there a way to change up the control scheme in the game? I know Nintendo doesn't always do that, but
the fuck of the Switch when it comes to that is that you do it on like a hardware level. Like, you go into hardware and do the buttons. There's nothing on the game to do it. And it's just like, shut the fuck up. Like, I don't mean to be rude, but, like, let me do this in-game. Don't make me, like, go to a secondary menu outside of the game to change it. Like, the fact that...
That is then going to fuck up other games that I play.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully, like, with the G buttons, GL and GR... short for grip buttons on the Pro Controller 2, the Switch Pro Controller 2. Those are able to be saved per game, which is good. So hopefully that's the same for any controller scheme. But I'll admit it, I was fucking spoiled by Yoshi, like, and the Mysterious Book, a game that, like, legitimately I only bought so I could say, I played all of the Switch 2 exclusive games from Nintendo, and here's my thoughts. And that one in-game has options for 3 different control schemes.
Damn.
Yeah, it's just I couldn't even tell you what it is. I think it's like A is fire. So like the south button is fire. The north button is bombs. Break is east, and like accelerate is west. Where like I would like to shoot with A and do bombs with B. I don't want to have to cross the gulf from A to X to do that. Like that just feels unnatural. And I know it's me. I'm just complaining, but like it's a weird complaint, and I don't want to have to go to like an outside menu for that. I want them to have taken the time to have like a classic mode for the controller.
That feels almost like an old school PlayStation control model, what you're describing, because that idea of having to cross, go across to use your specialty weapon, that kind of thing, seems very old school PlayStation.
Yeah, it's So it is A fires, Y launches and detonates bombs. So like that's correct.
Ooh, sorry.
And then
punch.
It's okay. And then B is break. Like I need to see a freaking Nintendo controller. Do I have? I do.
Yeah.
So, like,
yeah.
So it's A is your fire lasers button. So it's that but backwards. So your east button is firing the laser. You have to cross the gulf to the west button for bombs. You brake with B, and then you speed up with X.
Oh, Jesus.
And it's like, I don't want to do that. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be like, but like that's not, I want to shoot with the B button, bombs on Y, and then my boost is on X and my brake is on A. That's what I want. And the fact that they do not give, so what's it? The default standard
Somebody's
controls...
going to do the thumb mapping for this, because like I feel like there must have been like the ways in which your thumb is going to lay on the controller and what you're going to want to be doing at the same time in games, right? Like that has to be part of how you figure out your controllers. I'm not like that is something that people consider when they're right is the thumb mapping. So. And so I'm curious to see somebody to kind of maybe make like an infograph of the thumb map of this to see if there's maybe some logic behind it that I'm not understanding, because I don't know why you would make it that way.
I don't either. And then not give an in-game way to change it.
Yeah, right. I don't. Not to make it.
Yeah, so players, and this is from the Google AI overview. Players using the Pro Controller or Joy-Cons can adjust sensitivities inverting the Y-axis because you must constantly fire during levels. Veterans recommend remapping boost and brake to the controller grip or shoulder buttons that will let you keep your thumb on the laser button. So like when that makes sense, like that would be how you'd fly a plane, right? You would maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's just
we have spent too many hours on this very podcast trying to get into the minds of Mr. Nintendo, and it has never worked.
It's never gonna work out. It's just, but like playing the demo,
that way lies madness.
The demo just feels so slow, considering the fact that it's a game that released in 2026 that is a remake of a game that released in 1996, maybe 97. When did Star Fox 64 come out? I want to make sure. Star Fox...
Wasn't it part of the Great 98?
It's 97, man. Known as Lilat Wars
okay.
and PAL Regions, a 1997 rail shooter game. And that game feels fast. And Star Fox Switch 2 feels slow. And I granted it's only the demo that I played, but my time with the demo kind of turned me off to the game, and it's mostly because of the control scheme. And like if I do have the N64 controller that can be tied to a Switch. I haven't opened it because I ordered it before the realization that oh no, you have to get the expansion plus in order to play N64 games on your Switch. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to do that. So I have one, but it's sealed in box. And my collector brain is we should just leave it like that. But apparently that defaults to the same control scheme as on 64.
Ooh.
So
that's tempting.
That's the one I like. That's what I want. But I don't know. I should be playing that game because a lot of people are now talking about that game, and I have played the demo which I believe is Medio that you play through in the demo. It's not Corneria, which was smart of them to not make it Corneria, because I've played Corneria so many times. But then, like, I've loaded up, like, the Ship of Harkinian version of Star Fox 64, and that feels just so good.
I'm wondering if they've hidden Pilot Wings somewhere in here, because that's, like, the one thing that they didn't seem to put on the Switch, and I am so surprised.
I don't know, man. I honestly don't know. You're right. Like,
but this seems like the perfect game to hide Pilot Wings. These are my feelings on Star Fox for the Switch 2.
Well, and the world's feelings on Star Fox on the Switch 2 is that, like, the weekend it came out, online was going crazy, and by all accounts, I think it's dead now. I think it got min-maxed so quickly.
It seems to be that seems to be the Nintendo problem when it comes to the streaming audience and the struggles that Nintendo seems to have with capturing any ground there. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that they make some pretty finite games, with the understanding that real fans are going to replay them a million times, but, like, they are not afraid to make a finite experience.
Yeah. And, I mean, Star Fox, by its very nature, is a game that you should be replaying and replaying and replaying. Because, like, right. It is one of the last bastions of true arcade-style gameplay, right? It's Outrun with a gun in so many ways.
Yeah, but I think the ways in which the game loop got you back in the 90s, we've evolved as gamers, we've changed as gamers, we've whatever you want to say, but I think that we crave more, and Nintendo has never been about more. It's always been about sticking to what it's done a million times, right? So it sounds like what's going on is that there's a finite experience here, and it is exactly the kind of game that shouldn't have one.
Right. Which is strange, because, like, I would call myself a finite gamer. I like games that have an end point, and then if I really like that game, I will just replay it. See The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, right? I like that. I know what that story is, and I love to go back to it. I love to go back to the original Zelda on NES. Like, I like
What's the average speed run on that one?
On which one?
Link to the Past?
Link to the Past.
Like 2 hours?
2 hours would probably be, like, the average. 130 is the fastest. I've gotten
but, like,
a close
to 2-hour
90.
gaming experience. Like, once you get to know that game pretty down well, it's not hard to hit, like, a 2.5 hour mark, right?
Yeah.
And, like, that's all Nintendo wanted to give you. And that is considered one of the greatest video games of all time by many people.
Yes. And then, like, I finished The Adventures of Elliot. I enjoyed it. A lot of people are complaining that the game is slow, that you move too slow in the game. And to that, I say there are a bunch of things that increase your movement speed. You guys should probably look into the Magicite, and instead of just focusing on the things that make you faster, that make you stronger, notice that there are things that, like, increase your movement speed by 50% while you're charging this weapon.
Yeah, but I gotta get my DPS up.
Well, you know, if you're moving fast, and you can equip multiple Magicites, Siege. So if you're moving fast, you're not wrong, right? It's been this thing. Really enjoyed my time with it, but, like, everybody's, like, complained about, like, it's so good, it's like Link to the Past, except for the fact that it's so slow. And I'm just like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I just don't know what to tell people about this game, because I liked it. I don't know. I don't know. It's been those, but yeah. So yes, I think they did add a finiteness to, like, Star Fox, because the thing I like about Star Fox 64 is that, like, when I finish a run, if I'm, like, up for it, I'll start another run of it and try for the hard path or go for the medium path instead of the easy path. Like, I think that's the other thing, is that the controls didn't jive with me in the demo, and I know that the expectation with this game is to go through the blue path, then the yellow path, then the red path. And fuck, I don't want to play with this game for all of that. Because I didn't enjoy the one level because of the controls. And yes, I can go into I hate, like, on some level, I like that they have the option to, you can remap the controls to whatever the fuck you want, right? On some level, that is very cool. And if I had that option, Like, I hope that it'd be more robust as well. Because if I were playing Star Fox 64 today, I'd want to have the button where if I hold it down, it'll charge. But I'd also want to have a rapid fire button. So I can choose between the two, right? Like I want more options, not less options. And the Nintendo issue, which again, as we've tried to suss through Mr. Nintendo's mind, is that they don't want to give you the options. They want to give you the game the way they want to give you the game. And again, I cannot fucking believe that Yoshi and the Mysterious Book gave you the ability to go through 3 separate control schemes.
I don't want to get too deep into it, but the idea that the more child-facing game had people on board that were thinking about accessibility in a way that some of these more, get good game style games does not surprise me.
That's a good point. He does make a good point, ladies and gentlemen. I'll give him that. So I have one other thing I want to touch on before we go. Is there anything else you wanted to make sure we slammed into this episode?
Nah, man. Let's wrap this puppy up. What you got?
So today, July 15th, was the official release date of the G.I. Joe X TMNT, like, swan song figures from Playmates. Now, what do you mean still?
Didn't it get broken, or didn't it get moved or some shit? Or both, or?
Yeah, so, I mean, like, this is when Target has been saying the July 15th was the release date. I had the pre-order from Walmart that said that I would have them on July 3rd, but then on July 4th, when I did not receive them on July 3rd, it's like, oh, we canceled your pre-order. And it's like, oh, that's nice of you. That's so kind. Thank you for doing that. Please, sir, may I have some more?
Well, it makes me think of the Seinfeld car rental reservation bit from the early episodes of Seinfeld.
Yes.
What's the point of the reservation?
If I knew I needed a car... Right, but I had a reservation, but you don't have the car for me. Yeah, I don't know. I hate when pre-orders do that. So, like, I thought I was done, right? Like, I wasn't, like, super excited about them anyway, because I didn't want to have to hunt for them. Because I knew, like, it's these 2 huge properties where, like, it's hard to keep them on the shelves suddenly being slammed together. They're not going to be easy to locate. So I'm like, so I have the 4 turtles and the 4 villains all pre-ordered. The only one I need to find is Storm Shadow Slash. Like, that'll be the only one. I can't pre-order him anywhere. So, but today rolls around and I'm like, I'm going to go to Target early and hopefully there won't be a line. I show up at Target at 6:50. They open at 7. There is a line. And I'm like, hopefully these people are here for Pokemon cards. That will be my only respite. And then I look at the line and I'm like, no, I see 2 people I know buy Ninja Turtle figures. So is it even worth it? So I'm like, I'll go in. Maybe they'll have a bunch on the shelf. Really, all I want to get is Storm Shadow Slash, right? That is the one that really speaks to me. I don't know if you've seen the figure, but he looks beautiful. Like, combining Slash with Storm Shadow is just so intelligent. Whereas some of the other ones, like, I guess Dial Tone and Donatello make sense. But, Sejohn, do you know who Dial Tone is from G.I. Joe? I'll take your silence as a no.
No, I'm not trying to be silent. My headphones are dying. I'll be right there.
Oh, that's okay.
All right, I'm back. Storm Shadow Slash.
Yeah, Storm Shadow Slash.
Looking badass.
He looks super badass. So I'm like, that's the one I want to walk out of here. And I had checked the inventory at Target, and they said that they had them at the Target I was at. So they unlocked the doors. I'm not standing in line, right? I will stay in my car, and I'll go in, and I'll leisurely walk back there. I walk back, and there is a Target employee with a skiff, and she is surrounded by these people. And she's like, these are not new. These are not new things. These are all old things that I'm putting out. There's nothing new on this. So, like, it's probably in the back, not even unpacked yet. And, like, I'm like, oh, my God, this could break bad for this. So she says no to everything. I don't have them. And all these people walk away sad. And I'm like, well, I'm still going to look around, see if there's anything, right? I'm at Target at 7 a.m. I don't have to be at work for an hour. I could take my time. I look, and there, in the distance, on a little white cart in the center, are two figures. I cannot make out from the distance who these two figures are. But also, is somebody I know
from a distance.
From the toy collecting. Like, I run into him regularly when I'm looking for stuff. And he's hunting. Like, this guy is for real hunting. And he's got his hands on him. And I'm like, damn it, there's only two left. And, he's got him. He understands him. But I do know him. And, like, we've interacted before. So he sees me and he goes, you want these, right? And I'm like, yeah, but you're there first, man. So, like, can we, like, 1-and-1 on them? And he's like, oh, no, I was just checking them out, man. Like, I'm here for Hot Wheels this morning. And they look really cool, but, like, I know you're a G.I. Joe guy and a Ninja Turtle guy. And that stems from the fact that, like, I ran into him once on a Thursday, and he's like, have you been over to the other Target? Because Warwick has two Targets that are like 1.5 miles from each other.
Let's not go to that Denny's. Let's go to the good Denny's.
Right? Like, Rhode Island is fucking crazy. And he goes, have you been to the Target on the hill yet today? And I'm like, no. He's like, good. Because, like, they had some new G.I. Joes. I hid them. Knowing that you usually go to this one first. And he told me where he hid them. And, like, he specifically had hid them from me. I don't know this man's name, Sejohn. But, like, I recognize him and we can have conversations. And so he's like, no, I know that you do G.I. Joe and you do Turtles. So he's like, gladly. And I'm like, you sure you don't want one? He's, no. So I have a nice conversation with him. Again, I have like an hour before I have to be at work.
I dub thee Turtle Joe until we learn his real name.
I mean, Hot Wheel. He's a Hot Wheel collector. But I like Turtle Joe. I do like Turtle Joe.
Turtle Joe Hot Wheels.
Turtle Joe Hot Wheels. TJHW, what's going on?
It's starting to sound like it's a Christopherson fucking like ballad song.
Just a little bit. That was Turtle Joe. But so, and then he's telling me, like, he told me a Hot Wheels story that like broke my heart. That like he was there and like one of the dudes, he like, I see these people and even if it's a car I'm looking for, if someone else is like, I kind of need it for my collection, I'll gladly hand it over. Like, this dude is the definition of collectors helping collectors, right? Like, yeah, I'm so happy
collectors should be, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. What a collector should be. He tells me a story about this time that there's a dude and he's like shorter, so he couldn't reach the top shelf, like the top pegs in the Hot Wheels section, but the car he wanted was up there. So he goes to like a tall guy. He's like, look, I can't reach that car. Can you get that car for me? And the guy took it down, looked at it, and he goes, actually, I need this one too. And walked away. And I'm like, was it a bit? And he goes, no, that dude walked away and bought that car. And honestly,
was there maybe even a second one on the peg he could have grabbed, or just was it? Oh my god!
Like that type of stuff. I'm like, that upsets me. He's like,
that's
dude.
upsetting.
Like, and honestly, the question is, did that guy even care about that car, or was it the toddler effect of, oh, you want this, so now it has value. I will be taking it.
Yeah, nowadays, like, if you had asked me 10 years ago, I would be like, no, like, people are, shitty, but they're not fucking children. But no, I have learned my lesson. That is not true.
Yeah. So, like, I got that story, and then he's like, did you check the back wall, too? And I'm like, no, but, like, they wouldn't usually put this stuff in the back wall, because it's supposed to be, like, the back wall is for adult collectors. These are for the kids. These are the $15 figures, not the $40 to $70 figures. But he's like, let's take a walk back. So I walk with him back there to the NECA section, and we're talking. It was a nice experience. Sejohn, what two figures do you think I walked away with today?
I think that you were finally able to get Storm Shadow Slash, but then I think you also caved and bought like one of those vinyl Mickeys that was painted up like a Chucky doll.
No, I got two G.I. Joe TMNTs.
Oh,
I ended up getting two of those.
Then I don't know the second.
So if you're gonna buy Storm Shadow, you gotta buy Snake Eyes. So it was Snake Eyes Leonardo and Storm Shadow Slash were the only two that were on the shelf.
That's such a good combo, though. That is so
like,
good.
To walk out of there with those two and like get to pose them fighting as if I was posing Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow or Leo and Slash. Like, it felt really good. I don't love what they're doing with the guns. The guns are very Playmates aesthetic, where, like, yeah, it's a gun, but it's a water gun. So so Leo comes with, like, the Uzi that, like, Snake Eyes has been known for since the original, like, 13 G.I. Joes.
Right, yeah. One of his many attributes.
Yeah. Well, then the swords. Right? He comes with the two swords, and
the mask. I think also the mask is key.
Yeah. And like, honestly, it kind of stinks because, like, instead of just being in all black, like, there are portions where the green skin is coming through. So it's kind of interesting how they did it. The best part is that the visor lifts up on the figure and it has like Snake Eyes damage is done to Leonardo. Like, they went pretty hard on that. But all you get is the Uzi gun, but it's a water gun, and then the swords. And, you know, he's what he is. They say he has 23 points of articulation, but I've only been able to find 21. So I'm not sure where those other two are.
Bastards.
And then Storm Shadow Slash, he comes with 6 accessories, and, like, he does the G.I. Joe thing where literally all of his accessories can be stored on his body.
Oh. Nice.
Like Snake Eyes Leo, he can hold the swords, but there's nowhere for the gun to go. Yeah, where, like, because usually Snake Eyes, it has like a strap around it, so he can put it like over his shoulder. It doesn't have that. But honestly, I am breathing easy again. Because I got Storm Shadow Slash is the only one I want to walk. Only one I really wanted from the whole setup looking at them. Other ones are interesting, but that's the one I really wanted. And I've only interacted with 2 of them, but based on what I've seen from other people, it looks like he's easily the best one in merging together the G.I. Joe aesthetic and the Ninja Turtle aesthetic. So, pretty happy. And, you know, I have his mate, right? Like, Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow fight each other. They're the white hat and the black hat. They're the spy versus the spy. So I was happy that, like, that's how my adventure went with it. Jesus, my nose is running.
I think that's a sign it's time to go.
It is probably a sign to go. So thank you for joining us for this episode. We did record it a little bit earlier just because weather is doing it. Not a true excused absence episode. But just understand, if anything crazy happens, if in the time that we've recorded this to Sunday, the Sun Protection Act is either passed through the Senate and made a law in this country, or completely vetoed and we don't have to think about it again, understand that we are recording it on the 15th of July when it literally just passed through the House. So that's it. So anything else that's going on too. But if you want to keep the conversation going, we do have a Discord you can join. Invitations to do so are available wherever we are currently on social media, which as of this recording is Facebook and X, formerly Twitter. Navigate to the About section. You'll see a Discord link. Click it and boom, you're in. Like, that's how easy it is. We don't require a Patreon subscription for that. We don't even have a Patreon, so it'd be weird if we did. But if you're not on social media and you want to join the Discord, shoot an email to thesayreport@gmail.com, and we can facilitate you with a link to join. And if that's too much for you, like if Discord is still like a bridge too far social media-wise, which I get it, it is becoming very, very MySpacey with all of the customization that you can do now. I think currently I am Evil Dead Burn Fox Zero, which is fun, but I haven't seen that movie yet, so I don't know why. You can just communicate with us via email. Send it to thesayreport@gmail.com, and if it's for me, Devon Decker, or him, Stephen Sarwick, just put our name in the subject line, and we'll make sure it's distributed appropriately so that the Say Reporter you want to be reading your thoughts and dreams is the Say Reporter reading your thoughts of dreams. Just understand that if you submit something to one of us and we think it is worth talking about on the show, we will talk about it on the show. Any submissions are open to being used for the creation of content in a future episode of the Say Report. And honestly, that's the whole internet. So just know that about anything you're putting out there, anyone can do what they want with that information. And the internet, it might not be as forever as we thought, but it still lasts a pretty long time. All of that said, thank you so much for joining us for this episode. We look forward to seeing you in the next one. And William, please bring us home. Later.
Thank you for listening to the Say Report with your host Devon Decker and Sejohn Serwick. Please follow the guys on Twitter and Facebook by searching for The Say Report, and you can always subscribe on your podcast channel so this is delivered straight to you and you can enjoy it every week. With apologies to your mother, we'll see you next time.